What's up, guys? Good evening. Good evening. Happy Friday evening to you guys. What's going on? Hope everyone's been doing well and everything like that. Sorry I didn't make any videos yesterday, the day before, so I got caught up in some things. Okay, so this video is going to be about Virtua Fighter, the new Virtua Fighter. There's gonna be a new Virtua Fighter on the horizon, right? So I know I said last week that I was going to be talking about more into Darkstalkers with the FGC talks, but shortly after that video that I uploaded, I realized that I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't really important. I feel like it wasn't really important to talk about the potential Darkstalker character that ended up being scrapped and then he was put into Street Fighter. I was going to talk about that, but I was like, it's not really, I don't know. Wasn't really, I didn't really find it important. However, what is important is Virtua Fighter. So I know Virtua Fighter 5 is on the PS4 right now, PS4 exclusive. So that's what's turning the heads of the Virtua Fighter heads fans and everything. So Virtua Fighter fans, rejoice! You guys have been in the waiting room for about 20 years now. For waiting for a new entry. So let's go ahead and get to the point, and let's go ahead and read some articles. Right. So Sega says a new Virtua Fighter is in the development. Could Virtua Fighter 6 finally be on the horizon? Ready, go. So a new Virtua Fighter game appears to be in the works after apparent confirmation from Sega itself. In an interview with VGC, Justin Scarpone, Sega's new global head of transmedia, dropped the potentially explosive news as part of a discussion about the various legacy titles in the company bringing back with its new versions. Legacy titles, I got something to say about that. Here's a quote. So we have a suite of titles in development right now that fall into the legacy bucket, which we announced last year at the Game Awards: Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Streets of Rage, Shinobi, and we have another Virtua Fighter being developed. And so that's all very exciting. And then in certain instances, we're also doing animation series and or live action films to augment and be part of those roadmaps, right? The innocuous mention of a new Virtua Fighter has already set the tongues wagging within the fighting game community. Virtua Fighter hasn't seen a mainline release in years, leaving a mini-game appearances of Ryuga Gotoku's Studios Yakuza games and 2021 release of Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown to tide fans over. IGN has asked Sega for a comment. Virtua Fighter, which includes characters such as Akira Yuki, Pai Chan, Wolf Hawkfield, is on the hardcore end of the fighting game spectrum with slower paced gameplay and challenges players to master mechanics in the order to enjoy success. Virtua Fighter 5, which was released in 2006, is considered one of the greatest fighting games of all time. Could Sega now be ready to release Virtua Fighter 6? Virtua Fighter 5, which was released in 2006. Okay. Could Sega now be ready to release Virtua Fighter 6 nearly 20 years later? During the Game Awards 2023, Sega announced the new games in the Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and Crazy Taxi franchises. Alongside a teaser trailer below, the video shows brief clips of each of the games set to return. I'm not going to play the clip, we're just going to read along. We're going to keep going. So this is topic specifically about Virtua Fighter, not about the titles, of the other titles. Sega has said its Crazy Taxi reboot, for example, is an open world, massively multiplayer AAA game. There is no release date yet for the Crazy Taxi reboot or any of the other games announced at last year's Game Awards. Perhaps we'll find out more in December. Yeah, definitely. Right? Now, speaking of what they mentioned earlier in the article as I read to you, they were saying that they were looking at other legacy titles, right? They mention all those legacy titles. The Sonic the Hedgehog movies have been financially successful for Sega. Have been financially successful for Sega. They reported that they were bringing in $1 billion or something like that in revenue from the Sonic movies, the Sega movies, like Sonic. That's been very successful. So, if that's the case, right? Another legacy title they're leaving out. Okay, so like, what's the problem with bringing back Shenmue? What's the problem? Like, what's the problem? Shenmue. I have not played Shenmue 3. First 2 Shenmue games were great. Loved it. Freaking loved it. 3 wasn't very well received. There's a big backstory behind that in terms of story, the gameplay. Yu Suzuki had the game funded by the fans, so I'm not too sure how much of a role does Sega have in that, right? So my thing is, what's the problem? They want to bring all these legacy titles back. What's the problem with bringing back Shenmue? So that's my question. So I know they posted on their Twitter. There was like a line of Segas. If you guys seen the screenshot, and it said point out the correct. It said something about like one of these words in this. It was a line of Sega. Right, it's Sega and this Sega in the margin, right? Column, right? Well, one of them wasn't right, and someone pointed it out, and it said SE6A, not SEGA. Now, this was in correlation with the Virtua Fighter game. Look it up on Twitter if you guys Google it. So I'm wondering, that tells me, is this going to be a new Virtua Fighter 6? In production, or is this going to be a reboot? Is it going to be a reboot, a completely different? Is it going to be a reboot? Are they going to reboot the story of the Virtua Fighter franchise? What are they going to do? Or is it a new entry? You guys look it up. I encourage you to look it up. What do you guys think? I'm just not, as a longtime Tekken fan that's been sleeping on Virtua Fighter for years. Even though Virtua Fighter was the first 3D fighting game, as a Tekken fan, I've searched around for other active online 3D fighting games, and Tekken seems to be the only one lonely at the top. I am not feeling Tekken 8, guys. I'm sorry, but not sorry. I'm not feeling Tekken 8. So I wanted to get into Dead or Alive 5 and 6. Dead or Alive 5's, I kind of wish I would have got into it back in its prime, but I stopped playing 3D fighting games for a very long time, and that was until the guys got me into Tekken 7. That was fun, but looking back, I was like, it's not fun anymore. You know what I mean? So I don't like the direction where Tekken is going, so I'm willing to I want something hard, something challenging, hardcore, right? Give me some challenge. So Virtua Fighter has always been the more complex game in contrast with Tekken, considering Virtua Fighter was the first. So I want to give my skills a challenge and not just mash or just, you know what I mean? I want some strategy to it. So they got some new mechanics in the works with this game, with the new Virtua Fighter. So we don't know what's it going to be. They're currently exploring options. Let me know what you guys think, guys. All right. You guys take care.